Alright guys, welcome back. So TSLA, well, officially we have filled the gap from the election gap up, where stock was trading from 250 and the very next day after election at $284 levels. And this is the level I was watching today. And yeah, I was not making much videos in the past 2 weeks because volatility was crazy and I was trading a lot, and we were talking about this stock in the Discord jokingly, saying that when retail traders start becoming super bearish, this is exactly when I would try to buy the dip. So I went as far back as, this is my YouTube channel's videos about Tesla, okay? Maybe every now and then, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, I was covering this name, right? So I'm going back to March 15th, 2024, where I made this title, $0 Tesla. So now everyone is bearish. So you have to, I don't know, even if you are retail, maybe you have to just step aside and look at the crowd wherever you are in, what people are talking about. If mainstream media is talking about pretty much one thing, this is exactly the time you want to do completely opposite. So this is what I pretty much was cautioning about right there, saying that, okay, so when everyone is super bearish, and Tesla started the year, the first quarter of the year in 2024, exactly like this. If you take a look at the S&P 500 performance, this is what I brought up. I kept bringing up in the beginning of 2024, where, yeah, right here, right now, you can see Decker's Outdoor 35% down year to date. Again, it's not from its highs, and Tesla 34.76% down. Identical start to the Q1 of 2025 actually. So you can see, we can look at it on a quarterly chart as well if you want to take a look at it that way. Zoom out a little bit. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to load it. Yeah, every time weekend I talk about something, Thinkorswim, I'm probably in a maintenance mode, but I can zoom in right here and show you guys what happened in the beginning of the year in 2024. So this is where a year opened, and you can see straight flush down up until they reported earnings in April. So this is somewhere right here I was talking about, where like big YouTubers were talking about Tesla being bearish, and most of them getting extremely bearish at these $150, $140 levels. And after Tesla reported earnings, it just recovered this gap down, and pretty much this was the most painful period for anybody who tried to short the bottom. And then you guys saw the squeeze, very large squeeze, gave that squeeze back up, and then it wasn't doing a lot up until election. So most of the rally came post-election. So now, if we just measure from the highs of $480 levels, we're down essentially 45% now from those highs. And I kept talking about that one too, actually. So we were talking about very early on, when it was rallying, how high it can squeeze. First, we speculated 420, and then 400, IV crash, chop, shorts are getting squeezed, IV shenanigans, Tesla 500. And then after that, I was pretty much talking about, okay, so Christmas rally is canceled, profit taking, IV crush, 23% decline, indecision, 15% decline, 25% decline. And it looks like last time I talked about this one, February 7th, so exactly 1 month ago. And pretty much I was saying that, even on my tweet, I think I was talking about somewhere right here, saying that it could come test this 200-day moving average, but it went a little bit lower. So what now? So the point is, what now? Well, now officially we know that there's so many supply. There's a lot of people who got caught, and if you are one of those people, right around here, a lot of people were asking like, what's the best thing if I don't want to sell? A lot of people, don't have a stop loss plan at all. If they buy into something, they think that they have to get paid There's no such thing as guarantee. Like even if you hold it, a lot of people say, okay, if I don't sell it, I don't lose money. As long as it's unrealized losses, it's unrealized. As long as I don't realize that loss, I don't have a loss. That's how people think. And I was saying that, well, if you have such mindset, I mean, this is not the best place to do so in the market, the stock market. But I don't know, some people have maybe like accounting purposes, I don't know, like tax purposes, they want to have a long-term position and stuff. I was saying that to do some sort of a covered call, if you have, say, 100 shares, you can sell one contract of the any stock that you own, at least on the way down. I mean, again, if you are somebody who has to own the shares and you have no stop loss in mind and you don't think that you will ever lose money, well, that's the way to do it. Pretty much sell calls along the way every single week, collect premium, at least minimize the losses. But I know a lot of people have max pain, like 10%, 20%, but 40%, yeah, that's a pretty steep decline. I don't want to say it's a correction. It is anytime any asset falls 20% from its highs, it falls into this correction and like bear market territory. So up until 20%, you can consider it as a correction, but after that, it's in a bear market essentially. So I don't want to say that the stock can go. I mean, actually, I can imagine the stock going back to these 2024 lows, just considering what's going on in general, where we have not, I mean, if you have looked at the car prices and in general EV prices, they have declined significantly, and you don't see much of a EV demand. And in general, Tesla, a lot of people were talking about robotaxi and all that stuff right here. I mean, this is just until they start actually realizing money, or it shows up in the bank, market is not going to reward it, okay? But so far, well, I'm not looking into much of that, and I can argue with you guys a lot about forward pricing. But I was saying that by looking at the heat map, that there were like 3-4 stocks that still trade significantly above their forward earnings, and Tesla was one of them. There were like 3-4 stocks, we can take a look at it right here, that trade with like hundreds of forward PE, and Tesla was right up there. So right now Tesla's forward trading 68 times of its forward earnings. But you can compare it to, say, Amazon 26 times, Apple 29 times, Microsoft 26 times. And these stocks actually, in terms of capitalization, valued significantly more than Tesla. Okay, so Tesla is not $1 trillion stock anymore, I think, right here at these levels. Let's take a look, just to be precise. What is the capitalization of TSLA right here, right now? I have to check at this price. I forgot to look at it earlier. $844 billion levels. So, and I gave an example of a Palantir, I think, saying that, I mean, we were pretty much spot on that one. And I think another thing was Exxon. This is like a lot of people think that it's a monopoly and all that stuff. I traded that one, but same thing. Like there were like 3-4 stocks that were trading at an extreme valuation, and I pretty much, where a lot of people were thinking that this is a dip buying opportunity on Exxon, I'm saying, yo, this is still expensive. You're paying like insane valuation. You have to understand what you're buying. You're essentially buying, like during COVID, a lot of people overpaid for EV cars, twice the price, 3 times of the price. Same thing. If overall market average, let's say, yeah, we know S&P 500 average still trading, let's say, at 20 something, right? And then it's from that crowd, even like Costco, Walmart, a lot of people freaking out about that one. But those are like 31 times and 48 times. But Tesla 68 times. So I have no problem imagining Tesla to be trading And I'm not telling that to scare you or anything like that. I'm a trader. I'm pretty much as realistic as I can be every time I talk about pretty much any stock in this channel. So I have no reason to clickbait or like pretty much fear monger. I don't do this for that, okay? So I try to better myself analyzing the stocks and pretty much trying to predict what stock price can do, and pretty much try to put my own money on the line right there and try to make money if I am right with my thesis. So I have no problem assuming Tesla somewhere, let's say low hundreds, maybe even like literally in 2022 bear market as low as $100. That's where Tesla traded. And I'm not saying it can trade at those levels. I'm watching first line of defense here is 251. So short term, I'm expecting some sort of a relief bounce. I don't know how much, but first resistance I would be watching 200-day moving average, 280. Okay, I watch ultra short term like moving averages, such as like if you take a look at the 50-day moving average for Tesla, it's 371. It's significantly oversold in the short term from those highs. So I would assume if Tesla tries to bounce, maybe let's say to these $320 levels, it's 20-day moving average, and maybe chop around here before trying to pick a direction. I don't think that, I mean, of course I have I have no problem if it's going to be, say, waterfall down a little bit more to say fill the gap over earnings $217 level, because that's my next level actually, where they reported right here in October, pretty much Tesla was doing nothing, okay? And then they reported earnings, stock gapped up pretty big, and then after that 2 days of a green day, and then going into election, Tesla like was giving up all those gains from most of the gains from the earnings, but it didn't fill that gap. So pretty much after election, whatever happened, it's purely just momentum, and most of the price action, it's a squeeze. So squeeze didn't mean that people wanted Tesla at these prices. That's how I look at it. So if somebody bought a stock while getting squeezed, it doesn't mean that they thought that was the fair value. It's just they got squeezed and they were forced to buy the Tesla at a higher price. And that's what happened to many funds right here. Okay, so I have no problem with this name coming down to 216 if it cracks this 251. But short term, I think it is a little bit overdone. Maybe it can do something like this, consolidate a little bit, move sideways, and maybe kill some premium, because I want to show you this where a lot of okay, so Tesla was today the highest traded implied volatility, I mean the volume options. So you can see put to call ratio 50-50, meaning market makers, big funds, they're just milking the implied volatility, elevated implied volatility, where they sell calls, they sell puts, and what they're betting against is they're just betting against the implied volatility, or average true range, I call it, on a daily. So meaning if you have a trading view, I have shown it, but I'm not going to show it here. But average true range, it's basically the volatility levels for stocks. So let's say for TSLA, average true range, that's what I say, meaning this is how much TSLA has moved on average in the last 14 trading sessions, $19 up or down every single day. So right here, right now, again, I'm going to title it IV Crush, and this is what I mean by that. When this number contracts, it comes down, cools off, meaning Tesla is not going to be moving with a big range it has moved, and it's already, you can see the bodies of the candles will get smaller and smaller. And if you were somebody who thought you are clever and you thought this buying a short dated call options here is a good idea, you will realize that you overpaid significantly, and even if stock moves in your favor, your option contracts are not going to appreciate as fast as you thought it would, because it was expensive, it was priced expensive to begin with. So that's what it is. That's what IV crush is. So you buy short dated, you're gonna get crushed. And overall market hasn't pulled back much, maybe 7% from its all-time highs. But QQQs, the nasdaq, yeah, we did tag 10% today. We bounced off of that 10% today. So TSLA for me can move sideways, chop, but this is pretty steep decline, and you can just go back to last year and when the bounce happened. So if you think that you are bullish and if you think that this stock has to reverse, it has to do it for fundamental reasons. So how it's going to happen, just like right there when it puts a low in April after Q1 earnings, Tesla pretty much gapped up and it started pushing higher. So if you guys are right about Robotaxi and all that, the Optimus Prime, whatever the robots that they're trying to, I don't know if they're gonna, of course I saw the tweet of the Elon Musk where he said that we're gonna go up like 1,000%. I mean, the guy is, you gotta be careful with the guy. Okay, he can tweet a lot of stuff at sometimes when he's desperate. He like, if you were following stock market back in 2017-18, he was doing a lot of shenanigans, and SEC was not happy with his tactics because he has a large following. And again, I'm not a fanboy of any stock. Okay, I look at the stocks objectively, and this is not a financial advice. So if you think that the stock has to go up, I would wait up until April of 29th. This is when they scheduled their Q1 earnings. So I would watch after that earning. If they report strong earnings, then sure, I mean, market can try to buy the dip or maybe push it a little bit higher. But until then, I do expect choppiness, IV crush, and maybe even fill this earnings gap or maybe hover around between these $240 levels and $216 levels up until they report earnings. Okay, so that's my take for Tesla. I know if you are not as I don't know, if you didn't understand much of this video, sorry, but this is as simple as I can make it. So I'm watching for implied volatility to crush. Essentially, I'm watching for Tesla to chop around. Okay, I don't think that it's gonna fly to the high, even though it can, but I'm favoring more of a, if it's gonna have a relief bounce, it's not gonna be a crazy bounce, and it can essentially go as high as maybe fill the gap, not fill the gap, maybe go test its 20-day moving average and wait for it to have its 50-day moving average to catch up with this price action. But certainly oversold. But again, I'm not trading any options with this name, and I think there's a lot of back holders up at these levels now. So these videos are not a financial advice, not a buy or sell recommendation. This is purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Peace.